Welcome to the Not So Pro Chess League weekly arena broadcast. I am Coach Daniel, your host, also known as King's Bishop here at chess.com. And we are bringing a 5-0 tournament today, starting in just a half an hour. In fact, I want to put the clock up there, the countdown, so we can keep an eye on when that will begin. So let me just put it at the top here of the page. And set the timer for 3 o'clock. Oops. So less than half an hour away until the event begins. Now the countdown timer there will be an approximation. It may be a little longer, a little shorter, because that countdown timer is based on my computer clock, not on the server clock. So welcome to the program, and Stevis5 has joined us in the chat room. Greetings, Stevis5. Admiring the setup. How do you like my matching Arena Kings tie? Might as well do it right, I always say. So let's talk about the Arena Kings while we're waiting for the event to begin. Or not the Arena Kings. I forgot which program I was hosting already. Look at that. I'm such a good guest host. I did that impeccably. The Not So Pro Chess League, I should say, is started for those of us who are rank amateurs. And it was started as a team event, and they've had, 5 or 6 or 7 seasons. 6, I think it is, actually. Let me go ahead and go to the Not So Pro Chess League club page, and I can tell you what we read there. Yeah, it was season 6. Season 6 of the Not So Pro Chess League. I play on the Not So Average Joes myself, and we haven't managed to do too well over the last couple of seasons, but it's a fun league to give those of us who are not so pro. Now, I know there might be an irony in having a professional chess coach host the Not So Pro Chess League channel, but it doesn't say not at all pro, it says not so pro. In fact, last week there was a national master in the event here at chess.com. The last 3 weeks have featured blitz events. The first one was a 3-2 event won by Astrofers. The second week was also won by Astrofers, and that was a 5-0 event. And week 3 was won not by the national master, but by Ral 33-33, edging out the national master by 2 arena points, with a score of 10 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. The NM having 9 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. There was also a national master. Okay, so the_chess_coach was the NM that finished in second place. We had a second national master, Chess Kid 1220, also participate, but only played one game. And so there will be some titled players from time to time, but it's not so pro, as you could tell when I accidentally called it the Arena Kings. So I'm a not so pro professional chess coach. Now, as we're waiting to begin, we're just looking at some top games, some oh-so-pro chess games in progress here at chess.com. And one of the fun things to do at chess.com is to watch the pros and do a little bit of what we call guess the move. So if you look at the game here to my right and your left, you can actually make moves on the chessboard that you think that the grandmaster might make. So, for example, if I think he might develop his bishop, and he did actually, I moved it. You saw the pink squares. That means it recorded what I believe the move to be. Then when the grandmaster makes his actual move, the real move will be played, and you're either correct or incorrect, and it'll keep score for you. It'll tell you that was correct, that was incorrect, and at the end it'll tell you what your total score was and who guessed the best. And so maybe I think he'll play b3 to block out an attack on the b2 square. So I played it. So the pink colored highlighted squares indicates my guess. The move has not actually been made, and you can see on the clock, white's clock is still running. So it's still white to move. That's simply my guess. Much like a pre-move if it was your actual game. And so that's a lot of fun to do. And I would encourage you right now to log into Live Chess, click on the Tournament tab, click on the Not So Pro Blitz 5.0 Weekly Arena, click the Join button. Well, you have to go to the tab that represents that arena tournament. Click on the Join button, but then click on the top game in progress, and you can actually do that in your settings. In fact, well, probably not these settings here. Let me turn the sound on. But over on your left, down toward the bottom, there's a settings tab, a little cogwheel, and you hover over that cogwheel, click on all settings, and then you can go to the live chess selection. It's the sixth one down. Click on that, and then you'll see a list of settings. And one of those settings is auto watch top game. It's the sixth one down. Turn that on. Turn that game on, and the auto top game will automatically show on your live screen. And then when you're there, you can join me in doing Guess the Move. Guess the move. King G7. And let's see. Rook F2. My problem is I can never decide on a move in time, and the Grandmaster always seems to make the move, not always, but seems to make the move before I can guess the move. Maybe a pawn cap. Oh, he pushed the C pawn. So I'm guessing, I was just going to guess capture the pawn here. That puts this rook in danger. He puts him in check. Okay, they're moving really fast. Get behind one of these pawns. He got behind one, just not the one I guessed. And that's exactly... Oh, wow, they're fast, aren't they? That's pinned now, though. And so you can see this could be a lot of fun for viewers. And there's usually a bit of chit-chat inside of the game, a little bit of heckling. So, Chess Sky says hi. Welcome. Chess Sky, aka Chess Guy, aka Killian_King, and whatever else he's known as in various places. And so Chess Sky, Chess Guy, is the founder of the Not So Pro Chess League, is that correct? Or director? Give us a little info there, Chess Guy. Co-founder. Why should the pros have all the fun? Said Chess Guy and his co-founder. And it's a very successful league for something thrown together by a bunch of rank amateurs like us. Excellent stuff right there. Excellent stuff. So I decided to do it up here. I made my own Weekly Arena Kings, Weekly Arenas logo. Even better than the one Max made. Better, stronger, faster. But Max has given me an email and offered to help get me some emotes on my channel, so I'm appreciative of that. I'm just glad I had a tie to match the Not So Pro Chess League background colors and found this great teal chess position to put behind my head here. So, who do we have here? Oh, this is, I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce this GM's name down here. From Azerbaijan. Chaotis, I'll go with on the one from Hungary. Get on that open file, that makes sense. And get down here so you can double your rooks on that open file. There he goes. You better get on that file, that G file with your own rook to prevent a check from his rook. Oh, or you could retreat your king. That's another thing you could do. Get that other rook over on the open file. Double your rooks on the open file, ladles and jelly spoons. That's a good thing to do in chess. I'd still get my rook on the G file because this rook is coming down, no doubt. In fact, let me put it there. Thinking. Now, I will be bringing you, once the tournament begins, Liam Ches is in the house. There's a link here to the latest Not So Pro Chess League article. That actually brings me just to the general news page, guys. That link that you just threw up there just brings me to the general news page. So there's not, your link isn't quite right. Oh, this does not look too good for white, does it? This is pretty much over. His only hope is this pawn, but I don't think it's happening. Just get your king. He worried about the pawn. I think white didn't have enough time, but white resigned anyway. So now they've switched colors and they're playing again. So far we only have Lam H To enrolled, but there's still plenty of time. Hopefully we'll see a few more participants sign up here directly. I'd hate to think that I shaved and dressed up for nothing. Let's see, we got a Queen's Gambit main line going on here. Kick that knight away, he did. Move it to, you could attack, he did. And in the corner with the bishop, interesting position for that. Wake up your other bishop. Get your other rook on the open file. Okay, if there's a bishop trade, the knight will come over and the rook's on the open file. Just pick that off. Okay, now we got the rook there. You could try to make a passed pawn here by playing this, or just trade the rooks. If you're worried about this pawn structure, just trade rooks. Otherwise, support the rook with your pawn. So those are your two candidates. I'll go ahead and say trade rooks, but my second guess might have been that if there were... Okay, castle, obviously. Now trade that bishop off, I think. Only other choice is to try to defend it. Well, it's already defended by the rook, so maybe just get your knight to a better square. I personally think I would take it. What did he do? Oh, he counterattacked the knight on the wing. Well, go ahead and... Okay, so if he takes, and then the rook is attacking the other bishop. I think I would take anyway if I'm black. He does, he does. Well, now the only way to defend that is with the knight, if you want to save your pawn. And presumably he does, and he did. Now, black does not have the best mobility of pieces. White's pieces are a little bit better. You got the rook controlling the open file, the knight controlling the center, the bishop controlling the long diagonal, and poor black, his pieces are sort of out of playish. Well, yeah, that's got to go. So I'd give white the edge here. Maybe start pushing or try to get your knight better. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I thought he's gonna try to force a trade. Isn't that pawn hanging? Can I take with defense? No, but then when he takes, okay, I take, you take. White's got a couple of passers. White's all right here. He's doing fine. Okay, wow. Has to go there. Okay, this white, I think, gave up his advantage. That's going to be a forced trade. Now this pawn is going to be a goner. Check. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, okay. He deflected the king. You have to take it. And then here the knight's going to come up here. Oh, the problem is this guy's going to... No, I'd play knight to d6. You got time. Check. And that knight, all he has to do is stop the running pawns. I think he could have gotten away with taking. We'll just push it. That should be a dead draw from there. That's gone. Just a draw. All right. Well, that was a draw, but a time victory. All right, our tournament starting in just 6 or 7 minutes. But so far, only 2 participants have enrolled. You guys in the chat, is that typical? That people sign up at the last minute? Oh, 1 participant has withdrawn. Now we have a second joining up. Louis Sen 17, Lam H. To, Chess Sky should join, Stevis should join, at least get the thing started. Liam Ches should join. Coach Daniel would be happy to join if I wasn't commenting on the match, on the event. All right, Liam Ches has joined, as has Chess Guy. So we at least have enough to start the event. The first one, I think, was the best attended. We really need to promote these a little more strongly. Maybe some sort of a not-so-pro chess prize to incentivize participation. 2 weeks ago, the 5-0 had 19 participants. So that was the best attended out of the few we've had so far. Well, black seems to be doing fine here. Get this other rook into the game. Or sacrifice your queen because the pawn's pinned. That's interesting. Sacrifice your knight with a discovery on the pawn, on the queen. That was pretty slick. These guys come up with some slick stuff here. Well, it's queen against 2 knights and a rook. What would you rather have? This looks like black is white resigned. White resigned. Alright, a new game has started. Or we caught a new one in progress. And we've got just a few minutes before our event begins. And as soon as the Not So Pro Chess League arena begins, we will be looking exclusively at those games, and we'll switch off of the top games in progress. Oops. Made a little bit of a mistake there. Let me get back where I belong. Hit the wrong button. All right, just a couple of minutes until our event begins. 4 participants so far. Enough to get it started. And hopefully we'll have more joining. One benefit of having a few participants is it'll be easier to decide what games to watch. And easier to make comment. This is a 5-0 event. Traditional blitz in the arena format. And we're down, it'll be starting any second now, depending on, looks like my clock is about 20 seconds faster than 25 seconds faster than the server clock. Now, I'm hosting this on my channel as well, but I don't think notifications go out to my followers. I do not think notification goes out to my followers when I host a program. All right, there are 6 players, and the games have begun. So let me switch over. Let's switch over and get all these games started. We get all of them up on the board. I was a little bit behind there. So we have Chess Guy against Liam Ches on board 1. We got Lewison 17 against Stevis 5 on board 2. And the game was abandoned on board 3. Lam H. Toe against Hirsch Meta on board 3. So that's unfortunate. It seems that Lam H. Toe, who signed up an hour ago, forgot that he was signed up. So now Hirsch is waiting patiently. Let me get to a different game here. And let's have a look at the Liam Ches game against Chess Guy. There's a check there. Might as well move the king over. Get your bishop to safety. And hopefully they're not sniping here on the commentary. I wonder what he's thinking about. There's no good square for the bishop. Coming back into the cage, notice all these pawns on light squares. There he goes. Those would be a cage for the bishop. So g6 is the only square that made any sense. Only getting that bishop out, ready to castle. It'd be nice to put this knight somewhere. He decided to put it on a3 because there was nowhere else to put it. But don't get yourself pinned here. Get that knight to c2 immediately, if not sooner. He did. And Hirsch Meta still waiting. I hope he doesn't go anywhere. Well, these pieces, they're really awkward, all of them. The knights have nowhere to go. Well, the one knight could go to g3, I suppose. The bishop has nowhere to go. I don't like this potential attack here. I'd get my king out of there and maybe get my bishop back to look at the queen on b5. That's probably what I would do. He decided to try to simplify, but that is a blunder. That is a blunder there. That queen's going to be trapped. The queen, well, okay, he could. I guess he could. He traded, so it's not an issue. But black is still should be winning here. Nothing to think about here. Just take the knight. Okay, you don't have to calculate on a recapture, chess guy. Oh, I see. He's worried about this knight here. I see. Yeah, that's gonna be the continuation, though. King takes knight. Bishop takes knight. Your knight can't go anywhere anyways. And now it's hard to know what to do for white. Could have given a check. He's attacking this pawn. If you want to defend it, rook a1 makes sense. He did. That makes sense. Captures, captures. Pawn to c4, opening a line for his bishop. That was an interesting move, and then he trades off that pawn. So white's still trying to fight here. Attack the bishop. Your knight is useless right now anyway. You might as well attack, and then when he moves, you get the knight, the pawn. Oh, I should have played it the other way. Knight to c3. That would have left the d-man hanging. All right, well, you've got to make some choices here. Bishop to c3 to defend, and I'm sure he wants to get his rook somewhere. Super attack, it's super defended, so he cannot overpower that. But he can add another attacker, guys. That might have been a best move, that rook to a2. That pawn's gone now. That's good as gone. And that's going to be a nice outside passer. He decided to play a6, but the bishop or rook can still take. He took it with the rook. Well, you pretty much have to trade. He does. White's in a little bit of trouble here. This passed pawn is going to be problematic. These two bishops are better than the bishop and the knight. He gives check, but the knight has nowhere to go except back where it came from. I don't think it would be very wise to stay in black's house. And now it's going away again. Either h4 or g3. Probably he played g3. And now get your bishop off the edge. Get your bishops centralized, basically. You want your bishops to control. And now your passer. There he goes. He's going to run his pawn. It's probably a matter of time here. I would just trade here because of the advantage. Generally, when you have an advantage, you want to simplify, so just trade pieces. I would not have done it in that way. I see. And now a couple of time blunders, because there's only 1 second left on Chess Guy's clock, and that'll be that. All right, let's look at another game in progress. That's all the games, and let's go to... Esteves game is going on. Did Hirsch leave? Well, we got quite a few players now, 11 players in the event, but Only 6 of them are playing, so a few of them are not presently active. I think Hirsch Meta must have got tired of waiting. Just grab this Lewis game against GC Edward or GC EDW. The rook's hanging, you could take it. He did. Queen's gonna take back. Now you better get your, just castle, get your, there you go. You could attack that with your bishop, though. Oh, that's a, oh, you missed a nice opportunity. If you attack the rook with your bishop, you're also threatening checkmate on the magic square, which means you could have won that rook for your bishop and gotten your exchange back. Now, get that bishop. It's too late. No, it's not too late. He's got to give up the rook for the bishop. All right, now black's pawns are a touch better than white's. This advanced pawn is going to be a possible headache. Getting in line with the queen is not a bad idea. And help this pawn up the board. Okay, the bishop, the rook goes to help defend that file. Get your knight into the center and attack this pawn. Pawn's undefended. It's a backward pawn. It's a weak pawn. He decided to press. Okay. Looks like the black is content to simplify and try to use this A-man as a passed pawn. I think I would attack it right away. Instead, you know what? You don't even have to take the C pawn. Take the H pawn and get your queen in your opponent's king's face. Really, either move is good. Either move is good, but seems like the attack, the queen attack is better. The knight to the center is also very good. I think I would have picked off a pawn here. It's going to be too late for this. In fact, give check. You can give check. You can still take the C-man. You can still take the H-man. Okay, taking the C-man. Just take that with your knight. He takes, you take. And this should be pretty much all over but the crying. He decided to take the D pawn, get your king over to defend. Pick off the next pawn. One thing you just don't want to do is give your white a allow him to give you a perpetual check, which is what, just move this pawn and you're defending. Oh, should have played G5. That would have defended. I guess that's just as good, huh? Okay, just down to D2 is fine. White is going to try to get perpetual check with Queen B7, back and forth. So just move to your, just move behind your pawns. Get your king to G7. Get your king to G7, make him waste another move. I guess you can't. You have to come up. The queen stopped you from going back. Well, just keep bringing your king forward now. Still has a check here or here. Oh, sorry, I didn't see Stevis's farewell. I was focused on that. Thanks for stopping in. So, Black is trying to figure out how to avoid this perpetual. King to C1 for sure now. And Queen to A3 is the last check here. So that probably do it. Just play Queen A2, B2. And now you're getting closer and closer. Queen A7. Not sure where he hopes to go from there. Except maybe pick off some of these pawns, but... Okay. He just telling them to go where he wants to go. Right on over here. King to A1. King to A1. He's given this more of a think than it deserves. And he's less than a minute left, so don't lose on time. He decided to go king to A2. Okay, now there's still this check here. Queen to E2 creates another pin. I would have played down here. So I would have played, oh, because I see. But I would have played king to B1 when I had the chance. Because now the queen can go to E. Yep. Ah, that was nice. I'll just pick this pawn off, though. But he's going to use the second pawn as a runner. Queen's not going to be able to stop them both. That was good. That should do it for this game for sure. Just keep running it. Run. Check. Play this check up here. Or Queen H1 is fine, yeah. Can come up here. That's true. Pick that off. Oh yeah, he's worried about that. You definitely don't want to give up a perpetual check when you're winning like this. Alright, that's it. Checkmate on the next move. Boom. Good game. Let's look at Stephen Stanfield playing against Go Pikachu. In that game, I want to pick something. Let me look at the other one. When the third game starts, I will jump right to that so we can watch a game from the very beginning. So this is actually RCU 21 against Cool Perry. There we go. Let's look at the Wikipedia 1286. 2300 rating, wow. I feel for Lewison. Not sure what this opening line is. English. Looks like he played. No, he didn't play C4. Maybe in a Nim. Not sure what this opening line is. both playing real well here. Lewison holding his own against the 2300. Let's see if he'll trade. He does. I think Black is probably going to be content to trade if he can because he's so outrated. No doubt has intentions to play Rook A8 here. So Queen gets out of the open file so that he can swing his Rook to A1, no doubt. I think I'm still moving my Rook to the open file if I'm Black. Basically, White is saying, I'm a better chess player than you are, so I'm perfectly happy to trade down and win in the endgame. And Black is saying, I'm nowhere near as good as you are, so I want to trade down and get rid of your attackers so I have chances of survival. So both have the same strategy for different reasons. And that poor Rook has nowhere to go. The only thing you can do is support that B-man. That's right. And this is where the stronger player is going to do his best to eke out an advantage. In a game that's being played pretty decently here on move 23 by the 500 rating point underdog, Lewison 17. Holding his own here on move 23, but taking quite a bit of time. He's got a 1-minute deficit to his higher rated opponent, and he's thinking very long here. I would suggest either getting your king more centralized, but the problem is you have an open diagonal, so that probably isn't a good idea. Maybe creating some advances with your pawns. Oops. Get that out of there. Or get your knight on a better square. Those would be my types of candidates here. He doesn't know what to do, though. He's thinking way too long. For a 5-minute game, this is way too much time. You cannot think that long. Okay, he decided to put his queen on the most active square with the greatest amount of influence, but he's down to 2 minutes. Even if he holds his own here, he's going to lose on time. Can you play Rook to A6 and super attack this backward pawn? If Black is really confident of his endgame supremacy, he'll try to simplify. One way is to offer up a queen trade here. This backward pawn might be problematic. Hey, K.E. Bishop, welcome to the program. I'm not keeping a real close eye on the chat, although I probably should keep at least a little bit of an eye on it. Well, Black is impressively holding his own against an opponent 500 rating points higher than he. Now, if I'm Black, I'm going to go knight f6, aim at this bishop. bishop's got to get out of there. You don't want to, yeah, you don't want to let him get two strong pawns. But black actually has real good chances here. Now that we're entering into an endgame scenario, these black pawns are much better than white's. K.E. Bishop, you are playing? Oh, are you KEB 2012? Oh, he's on right now against Cool Perry. Go ahead and mute your audio because I'm going to be commenting on the K.E. Bishop game. All right, so this was an English opening. And that marks the reversed Sicilian Taimanov line, full symmetry line. And black, I think that, yeah, black is going to get a major advantage here. That is probably should be enough to win. Take the rook. What are you waiting for? Ooh, interesting. I would have just grabbed that rook in a hurry. K.E. Bishop says, no, you know what? I'm going to get some more momentum here. K.E. Bishop wanting to trade down now, sensibly wanting to trade down. An enormous advantage by K.E. Bishop. I might have gotten my queen elsewhere and then put my knight on d5. Now there's also another skewer waiting to be played if he can somehow get his bishop to b3 with protection. I don't know that he can, but if he could. Okay, it would probably be a mistake to take this pawn in any scenario, but you can super attack this now. Knight to g4, threat, oh, wrong move, wrong piece. Knight to g4 would have been the move there. Knight to g4 would have been the move. He went ahead and resigned, though, because he realized, I'm lost. Cool Perry defeated. That was quite a game there. Quite a victory. All right, Cool Perry looking for revenge against Wikipedia. Wikipedia with 2,300 rating. 2301, so I'm guessing he won that game. I didn't stick with it because I was looking at the K.E. Bishop game. You won. Not only did you win, you won convincingly. Your opponent gave you a gift early on. So I'm interested in the Wikipedia game, though. This 2,300 player. By the way, the standings are Stephen Stanfield first. We're just about halfway through. Stephen Stanfield is in first. Lewison is in second. So Gada Ghosh is third. Stevis 5 is fourth. Wikipedia is fifth, having won the only game he has played so far. And it's a real challenge when you're doing a 5-minute time control and you need to get as many games in as you can in an hour. When you're coming in late, that's going to be hard to overcome. Liam Ches is 6th. Hirsch Meta 7th. Only played one game so far, did Hirsch Meta. And he's not playing right now. Oh, he didn't play. He won by default and then left. That's right. Cool Perry. Then K.E. Bishop won his only game so far. Alexi 2013. GCEDW 2001. Chess Guy played one game and has sat out since. Creating Weaknesses is waiting, or maybe perhaps playing now. Yes, in progress against Stephen Stanfield. Go Pikachu, RCU 21, Evolved 2, Am Horton, and Lamb H. Toe signed up an hour early but didn't start the game. K.E. Bishop won 2 in a row. I'm going to follow K.E. Bishop. Let's see what's going on with this guy. Hello, Chesswind. Greetings and welcome to the Not So Pro Chess League weekly arena broadcast. And I am International Patzer Daniel Greiner, also known as King's Bishop, here at chess.com. That's one thing I forgot to put up was a chess.com logo. I should probably put one up there. Let me find one. Find me a chess.com logo, go, go, go. Logo, go, go, go. Go, go. What do you know? What do you know? Where to put it? Where to put it? Let me just put it in my screen. I just put it in my screen. It doesn't overlap my Not So Pro, does it? It probably does. Let me scooch it up a touch. Try to make it just right. All right, that's more betterer. All right, we're right now looking at the Wikipedia versus Cool Perry game. And we're on move number 22, and Cool Perry's holding his own. Cool Perry is holding his own right here. So far, so good. K.E. Bishop is playing white against Stephen Stanfield, the leader, so I guess we should put that game up as well. And I don't think K.E. Bishop is going to get a third. This guy has been on fire and has about a 300 rating point advantage on K.E. Bishop. But rating isn't everything. I'm having a hard time really trying to decide for both sides what their plans should be. You know, there's a pawn sitting here that can be captured with a fork. I would be inclined to aim at it with something like bishop h3 if I were K.E. Bishop, because you could have something like that, but now you got queen takes. Actually, white's actually looking good all of a sudden. Get that bishop out of there somewhere. Maybe aim it at this and weaken the pawn structure and get a rook on the h-file, and you've won the game. That would be a move to make. He did. Now, K.E. Bishop, you better be muting your audio or I'll give you a stern look. No using my sage advice for your own benefit. Well, I don't know what Black is going to do about this. You probably have to... Bartholomew Henry Allen. Bartholomew Henry Allen. Bartholomew Henry Allen. Okay, and that's the proper name for Barry Allen, really? Is that truth in fiction? Pinned pawn. Is that truth in fiction? Oh, that might not have worked, because you can pin his queen. You can pin his bishop to the queen. So queen to c5. Is Barry Allen's name? What do you know? How do you know these facts? And he found it. Black found this pin. Wow. And that's also a check, so the king is forced. That was nifty. Now you can just move this rook and you're attacking the pinned piece. I'd say... not sure what I'd say. Perhaps... Well, no, the problem is if you do, you got to keep your rook on the 6th. So probably play rook. Oh, he decided to give check. So we have chess wind. We have Bartholomew Henry Allen. We have K.E. Bishop. Stevis has left. I'm just glad it wasn't chess. Broken wind. You can actually deflect. You can play a deflection here. Rook F1 is a tactic. Will he find it? Rook F1 check. Rook takes rook. Queen takes bishop. Or queen takes the other bishop. Take your pick. Oh, that's not going to work. Just take it. Take it. Bishop takes g6 is going to be winning. Bishop takes g6. Rook takes g6. And then the bishop on e7 is hanging. Bishop takes g6. Queen takes g6. Queen takes g6. And the bishop on e7 is hanging. Either way, that bishop is a guana. Will K.E. Bishop find the move? He does not find it, but I'd say that Black is still in big, big trouble here. All right, you probably have to take that bishop. So the 2300 seems to have met his match in Steven Stan. Is it Stanfield or Stamfield? Stanfield. And Stanfield's actually no longer in first place. Sugatagash is in first with 3 out of 3. All right, so it's 2 rooks against a rook and a bishop. We're going to have to go to Sugatagash and give him a view. It's only a minute left on Black's clock. And I think White's got this in the bag. So K.E. Bishop handling what did I say? The 2300? No. I got my 2 players confused. I are a chess coach and such a good announcer. All right, that passer's going to be a problem. Yeah, this should be White's game fairly easily. And I think Black is going to flag anyway. I mean, rook f4, g5. You got to keep your pieces on light squares when he's got a dark squared bishop. You know, just move it over 1. Okay, or 3. I'm not sure this is, I see what he's up to. Throw the check in. Oh, it's checkmate. Oh, no, it's not. There's a bishop there. My miss. My miss. Now he's coming over. Now the check gets... Doesn't matter. Didn't have time. So K.E. Bishop surging into a tie for first place. And right now, neither first place player, they got to get paired up against each other. Come on, let's see that matchup. K.E. Bishop. Let me put a different game up in the meantime. Let's see the K.E. Bishop. Here we go. Oh, this is K.E. Bishop Wikipedia. Good luck, buddy. Current not-so-pro chess league champion is the Chess Vikings. What, Barry Allen, what's your login name for chess.com? Who are you, Barry Allen? I'll make sure you get at least 1 game up there. It's hard to follow a bunch of different games for me. So I'm just kind of picking someone in the lead. But who are you? Who are you on chess.com? I don't see any reference to Flash or Barry Allen in the list of players. Does anybody know? Okay, you're You're that guy. Well, is your game being played? I don't see you playing. I was hoping you'd get paired with K.E. Bish as a co-leader. Sugata will do. You gotta see Sugata. All right, we'll keep an eye out for the Sugata game to start. In the meanwhile, we're watching K.E. Bish versus Wikipedia. And amazingly, K.E. Bish once again has an amazing advantage against someone significantly stronger rated than he. Okay, what you want to do is, your knight is somewhat trapped here, so you need to give it somewhere to go. So one idea would be to try to break his pawns open. Well, that's no good. Oh, I think you missed an opportunity there. I think you missed an opportunity. Okay, well, he's still in control here. And I'm still looking for a Sugata game. We gotta see a Sugata. Are you waiting for... Oh, here we go. Here we go. What? How'd it get to this point already? It barely showed up on the screen and you were already winning. I'm confused. Back to the K.E. Bish game. Okay, Sugata won 4 out of 4 and just totally destroyed the opponent. No sooner did it appear on my screen and I go to it, then he's giving checkmate. They only used half a minute on the clock each. Look at this. Half a minute each is all that was used. You did not stink very long, I'll tell you that. All right, now you just have to be careful about that A-man. You don't want that to run on you. And I think you've got this in the bag. Now he's going to come after this. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. You better get back there. He did. Get over. King G7. Okay, Sugata is playing again, so let's watch. Try to watch both these games at the same time. That's just not possible for my mind. Sugata Gosh. Sugata-gosh. Uh-oh. That was a blunder. That was a blunder. That looks just like a puzzle rush problem I had. Yes, Sugata-gosh, your streak has been busted. Oh. Oh, that's what you didn't think you were gonna do that, did you? Check. Get the queen to D6. Stop him from castling. I think, let's take a quick look over here. Looks like black has got this in the bag. Go back. Go back. And what is white waiting for here? Took him forever to find the correct move. Just queen to e5, fork the knight. And a pawn. He's going to have to go back to block that attack. Now bishop can... That's okay. I would have stopped them from castling with bishop to a3. That's what I would have done. Were I he. Now I'm not he. But were I he. Let's get in line with the king. You want to get in line with your opponent's king. And then a good candidate move after that would have been bishop to h6. You don't want your queen out in the open where it can be attacked by your opponent's rooks. 8 minutes left in the event. Wow, it has flown by. Oh, just trade. When you have an advantage, you want to just trade down. So there's nothing to think about here. Queen takes, knight takes. What a pin. Look at that. That's going to be another simplification. Take it. And now you've got an extra piece. Get your rook behind your pawns. So rook f to c1. Each rook helping a pawn. And it's just a matter of finishing your opponent off. But you can't be taking so long to figure out these obvious moves. Okay, black could get rid of one of his rooks and win one pawn. It's still going to be hard. I mean, he's got a whole extra, white has an extra piece. Okay, back rank checkmate threat, so g6, h6, or f6, or king f8 are all in order. g6, h6, f6, king f8. The only other real move would be rook c8, and why do that? He played king f8. Okay, get behind your opponent's pawns. That's good. Will black throw a cheap check? I think getting on the a file would probably be best here. Okay, get out of the way and take the... That's good technique. What are you thinking about? Get your king out of the way. You're in check. You only have so many legal moves. He didn't want to lose that pawn. Well, I would not have traded off my rook. You don't want to trade off your pieces when you're behind. You got to keep that rook. This is over now. This is absolutely over. Put your king on e5. And it's over. There's no stopping it. Just have to find a way to attack these pawns. So, knight a5, I guess, okay. He's trying to run one of his pawns, but that's not going to work. Go and play pawn a6 like you were going to do. But I would have played knight a5, knight c6, knight d4, knight takes e6. The moves I would have played. If you're worried about this pawn here running, then you've got to play... I wouldn't worry about it, because your pawn can stop him. And he can never bring the support, because your king can pick off the f-man if he tries to push the g-man. So this is resignable. Alright, he's probably going to just play knight c8 or knight b5. Knight takes a7. Knight out of the way. Okay, now take with the king. No choice. And it's over. Knight takes a7. King to e4. Pawn to g3. Could have played pawn to g3. I would have. All right, pawn to h3. Okay, takes. Just get your queen. a7. King takes. a8 queen. King takes. King takes e5 check. King takes e5 check, and it's over. Steven wins it. All you have to do now is make sure you don't stalemate your opponent. You didn't even need to do that. Just get your king to the magic square. Fine. Making it a little harder than he had to, but checkmate is checkmate. Play here. King here. Checkmate on the next move. All right, good game that. Let's go back to K.E. Bishop. That game's over. Black won. What else do we have going on here? Sugata Gosh. Sugata Gosh is in first, 4 out of 5. K.E. Bishop second, 4 out of 4. 3 minutes left in the event. K.E. Bishop playing against Go Pikachu. Will he win in the last 3 minutes? Doesn't look like it. Go Pikachu is crushing him in this game. Not this time. Not gonna happen this time. Go Pikachu will win this game. Steven playing Lewison. And what we'll do here, we'll stay on after the event a little bit longer and go over some of the games because it was a whirlwind. The tournament was a whirlwind. So I will be glad to try to analyze some of the games. If you want a particular game analyzed, put it in the chat and we'll go over your game. Anyone who wants to analyze a game here on the stream, let me know in the chat, or let's get some nominations in the chat. I've seen some astonishing upsets. I mean, that Wikipedia 2300. Who beats a 2300? That's what I'd like to know. So perhaps we can take a look at that upset. One and a half minutes. Neither player has to lose here. I mean, you could just sit, because the chess.com format is such that if an arena game is still in progress when the arena clock expires, then the game is automatically aborted. It's not like some chess pages where you play out the game and it still affects your rating. That's the 1 minute chime that you just heard. And it looks like we have a tie for first. Do they use a mathematical tiebreak system, or do they just share a first place medal? Is that how it works? Of course, it's always possible that either of those okay? Oh, they're playing now. They're playing now. They're playing, but they're not going to have time. They're not going to have time. That's too bad. That's too bad. We may have to see how this game... Okay, so it's a tie for first. Sugatakash, let me put the results up on the screen so we can see them with our eyeballs. And then we can actually go over some of the games. Before we close out the stream. Especially, I'd love to see who beat the Wikipedia guy. All right, let me put the standings up on the screen. In front of your eyeballs, at least to give you a quick look at the top 10 here. I'll make that a little neater. Trim that down a bit. All right, so we have Sugatash with 4 out of 5 getting a first place medal. K.E. Bishop, 4 out of 5, first place medal. Stephen Stanfield, 4 out of 6, second place medal and 10 points. Lewison 17, 4 out of 6, but only 9 points. Third place medal. Cool Perry, 3 out of 5. Wikipedia, 2 out of 3. Stevis 5, 2 out of 3. Go Pikachu, 2 out of 7. Not a good day for Go Pikachu. Most games played so far, though. Liam Ches only played 2. And it looks like everybody else just played a couple of games. Well, here's a 0 out of 5. Unfortunate that. So there you have your top 10. Let's look. First of all, let's look at the game that's still on our screen. It's black to move. Well, this bishop here is a goner. Black can simply play pawn to f4. The bishop is trapped. So he's going to go down material. If he desperados his bishop to get a pawn, you want to take it with your rook, not your pawn. Keep your pawns together, number 1, and don't open a line, an additional line to your king. And he says rook to e8, check. Okay, that super attacks the bishop. I didn't see that. So is that the best line? Well, the computer says it is. Oh, but you can just X-ray defend. X-ray defend. Nice. It looks like black, according to the computer analysis on your screen, is going to win that game. What other games can we look at here? Oops. How do we look at the... Isn't there a way to get the games on the screen that were played? I thought there was some place you could select the games that were played round by round. Is that not possible? Anybody? Anybody know? Well, there was a third place medal awarded to Lewis in 17 and Cool Perry. So, not sure why that. Cool Perry only had 7 points. All right, here we go. What you do is you go to your club. You go to Not So Pro Chess League. You click on Live Tournament. You click on Arena. You click on the one that just happened. You see that in front of your eyeballs. You see what you see right there with your eyeballs. And then you scroll down and decide what game you want to watch. So I want to find, first of all, that game where the favorite, Wikipedia, was upset. So there's Wikipedia. I think we could do a Control F. No? Control F there. And go Wikipedia. And then find the game where he was upset right here. It was against K.E. Bishop. Okay. Let's go back to the beginning. Hold your horses. Something is not aligned properly. Can we shift that over? Something's not copacetic here. Let me slide that over some on the screen. And kind of correct that alignment. First we will slide that over, then we'll just slide that over. Bada bing, bada boom. Maybe I can fix it this way. That looks betterer. That looks more betterer. All right, so Wikipedia had the white pieces. K.E. Bishop with black. And that, you see the little icon there indicates it's a book move. King's Indian Defense. Fianchetto, Carlsbad, Simigan variation. Knight to c3, knight to f6. The computer, the arrow indicates, the target indicates it's okay move. The arrow indicates that the computer feels that e5 is the best choice. Knight f3, pawn to g6, pawn to g3, bishop to g7, bishop to g2, puts it back into the book. So we're now back into book here. Book, castle, castle. Knight c3, book. Book. Another book move. Okay, so the star is out of book. Now star means it's the best move. But there's an arrow by the pawn indicating that that would have been an alternately good move. It would have been just as good. Either move would have been just as good. I don't know about you, but I'm not crazy about opening a diagonal for my opponent's fianchettoed bishop. Rook to e8. Boy, the computer's been wanting the black to push to e5 on quite a few moves. Bishop to b2. Now pawn to e5. And the pawns are traded off. Now the question mark indicates a mistake. Question mark indicates a mistake. Pawn takes pawn is a better choice. And it's a 1.5 pawn difference. If you look at the evaluation bar on the left, this gives white a 1.8 advantage, where pawn takes pawn gives, it's just pretty much still equal, about a half pawn in white's favor. Knight takes e5. Pawn takes e5. Bishop takes b7. Rook to b8. Queen takes queen. Rook e takes queen, and then bishop back to f3. That's considered a dubious move, not egregious enough to be considered a mistake, but still considered an inaccuracy. And it's about a half-point difference. The evaluation bar had white played to g2. You see the evaluation bar here says 1.04. So the next move here is bishop takes, and Chesswind says, what about rook d2? Well, according to the computer, rook d2 was the best move. Attacking the bishop here. So, but the little target there indicates it was an okay move for black. And there's a follow for the channel. I'm gathering that's the follow sound. I don't have alerts set up for this channel, so I'm gathering I didn't think about that, so I apologize for that. I don't know who just followed, but whoever you are, thank you for following the channel. Pawn to e4 was the best choice for black here. Knight captures, bishop has to capture. And now you can desperado your knight. Instead of capturing right away, attack the rook and win a pawn. When he captures back, then you can capture the rook. The bishop, excuse me. Instead, knight played to d2. Okay, he's aiming at f3, I suppose. That makes sense. Although the computer liked my move better. And this counts as a blunder. Better would have been to attack the rook on d8 with your bishop, getting your bishop to safety. Yeah, that's quite a blunder, isn't it? That's quite a blunder. The bishop is hanging. Just take it. You say, well, but then he gets the knight, the rook. Well, let's have a look here. Knight takes, rook takes. Let's come back. Knight takes. Right? Apparently that's an excellent move. But he says, save your rook instead. So instead of the rook, should have played this, and apparently this would have been the better move. So save your bishop, says the computer. Now the king can just conquer. And black has an extra piece. And that is probably the turning point of the game. So even 2,300 rated players make mistakes. What do you know? And of course, that's going to make the difference in the game. Almost no real need to look at the rest of it. Let's just page through it. Another blunder there. Rook E1, it says. At this point, I think it hardly matters. Trading rooks apparently isn't preferred. Oh, yeah. Desperado your knight. So you capture the pawn, and you're taking, when he takes your rook, you're taking his rook with check. And now you're just a complete rook ahead. Not that it matters. I mean, you're winning this game either way. This is how the game continued. We'll just page through it, because we're past the point where it was, you know, critical. It's just plain over. Just a matter of maneuvering. There's your passer. Bye-bye. He said, go and take my pieces. I don't care. And that was that. Right, so that was K.E. Bishop against the favorite Wikipedia, 2,300 rated. Let's see, are there any other interesting upsets that we can look at here? Try to find, okay, Sugatagadash, whoever this guy is. That's a 200-point differential. That might be an interesting game to see. That might be an interesting game to see. Let's put that one up there. The evaluation bar progressing, analyzing. It's stuck on 99%. Oh, there we go. All right. So it looks like there were a handful of blunders on both sides here. Oof. 10 blunders on the part of Liam Ches. 10 blunders. Woof. A French defense. Exchange variation. Monte Carlo variation. And, okay, bishop d3 is preferred. No doubt. I'm not sure. I don't know why that's so much better, actually. Now the king, how are you going to get castled, though? That's the real issue here. How are you going to get your king castled? Okay, this counts as a brilliant move. I'm not sure I can appreciate what makes this so brilliant. It's just a development move. Double exclamation point. Brilliant move. Brilliant. You developed your knight to f3. What would he have gotten if he had taken this pawn? Would that get a brilliant move? No, it doesn't even get a marking at all. Oh, it got a target. Got a target. Not brilliant. Well, let's see. The evaluation bar is negative 0.93. Negative 0.93 right now. The text move brings it to negative 0.5. I'm not sure. I don't understand. Check mark is excellent move. Now, how come that wasn't a brilliant move? Bishop e2 is the best move. I thought it was pretty brilliant getting out of check there. Computer didn't like c6. I guess it depends on how you're evaluating brilliancy, right? C takes d5, should have castled. C takes d5, now he castles. Knight c6. Pawn to a3. Rook c1 is preferred. Get your rook to the open file. Bishop to a5. Apparently the bishop's better served on the b8 h2 diagonal, although I see no problem putting it on a5. And if you want to get to that diagonal, you can go there via c7. Brilliant move is usually the second to best move, but which is hard for Stockfish to find. So Stockfish couldn't figure out that white should develop his knight? How could any opening move be a brilliant move? That's all I want to know. Rook to h1. Rook to h1. Rook to e1. I don't know my alphabet. Bishop to f5. Pawn to b4. Bishop b6. Bishop e3. Knight g4 not liked by the computer. Queen c1 gets a question mark. Rook to c8. Queen to d2. Knight takes bishop. Pawn takes bishop. Blunder here, according to the computator. Queen to f6. Queen to f6 turned that table. Notice we're one full pawn in black's favor here. And, oh, a pawn and a half in white's favor here. So that's a 2.5 point swing. The preferred move was a5. That's not the most natural looking move, but I can see that move. Notice the queen and the rook on the a5 e1 diagonal. So pawn to a5 makes perfect sense with the idea of after pawn takes pawn, which would be a mistake. If you play that, I'm sure b5 is the best reply for white. Let's go ahead and put it on the board. And I would think b5. Yep, I got a star. I didn't get a brilliancy, but I got a star. Yeah, you definitely don't want to take this pawn and have this. Even though the computer says you should take it with the knight. Why would you do that? Why would you do that instead of getting your long-range attacker in line with your opponent's majors like this? I mean, one move from the knight and you got this under super attack. All right, let's go back to the main line anyway. So queen to f6 is apparently a blunder. Oh, there was knight takes d5 here, yeah. Knight takes d5 is what Barry says he misses. He missed. He missed that he was leaving the pawn undefended, where the knight could not only take, but take with tempo. But, white didn't see this move either. Oh, Barry, you're the one playing white. Okay. Barry is Sugatagash. Why did you play king to h1 here? What were you worried about? What was your thinking process when you played king h1? Of course, this is blitz, but, you know, and seeing a hanging pawn right in the middle of the board where you don't usually expect it. A lot of times in blitz chess, you go by intuition and expectation rather than calculation. You don't have a whole lot of time. 5 minutes doesn't give you much time to calculate. And so, unless you're keeping a safety table in your mind and an inventory of protected and unprotected pieces, it's actually not hard to miss a hanging pawn when you're playing blitz chess, because you just don't expect it. You don't expect your 1900 rated opponent to leave his pawn hanging. And so you believe him when he plays queen to f6. So king to h1. And black. Oh, now this you should see. Because this is what we call a pigeon tail pattern. You see the head of the pigeon here on, let me put it in blue. You see the head of the pigeon here on the beak, if you will, here on D5, and the tail back here on E7 and F6. Whenever you see this so-called pigeon tail pattern, your eyeball should always be directed to the beak of that pigeon to see if you can play a fork. So here, for sure, the capture is begged. Oh! Oh, this is just a totally missed winning move. Missed the winning move here. He did not see the pigeon tail. Well, it is blitz chess. Oh! So here we have the third opportunity to play. Knight takes D5. 3 chances given. 3 chances given here. Finally, the third time was indeed the charm. And now the fork is played. Queen is eyeballing H7. If at some point, I'm drawing too many arrows. If at some point the F knight can make it to, let's put these ones blue. And these ones red. If at some point the knight can make it to G5 safely, you might have an attack on H7, but more importantly right now is this nice nifty fork that has been played. And this should be winning, yes? Should be winning. And computer didn't like attacking the knight. Look at that. Look at this. You got a pinned pawn here. So go ahead and attack the queen, forcing off a knight trade. But you're ahead in exchange, so this should still be winning for white. I actually wouldn't mind that. If I'm black and I'm behind, I don't want to trade pieces. I want to keep pieces on the board. But moving the knight to the rim is awfully dim. That might not be the best spot for it. Rook A to C1 gets the last rook out of bed and on an open file. Back rank weakness here. Okay, he resolves his back rank weakness by playing G6. The computer wants you to take control of the center here. Oops. Or give the check on C8. Give the check first. You played queen to C3. Remember the AWL rule, attack with less. So by playing the rook to c8, king to g7, then it's possible to perhaps get on this diagonal and attack here. All right, so queen to c3. Rook attacks. Queen ends up moving right back. Rook moves back. Queen moves back. Rook moves back. And white is wise not to allow a repetition. Knight c4, attacking the queen. Queen b3. Apparently c2 is e2 is preferred. No, I don't understand. I kind of like your move here, actually. I don't know why that gets a question mark. It looks in the face of the king. Well, I guess it doesn't quite defend. This is under super attack. 2 attackers, only 1 defender. Rook c8 gets a double question mark. And look at that evaluation bar, jumped 8 points in white's favor. That should take care of that, because look, we've got, okay, he had 2 attackers and white had 1 defender on a3, but now white has 2 attackers and black only has 1 defender on c4. Queen takes a5. I don't see a queen takes a5 here, but rook takes c4 is the move to play here. Boom, he found it. And that should be all she wrote now. You're a full rook ahead. Yeah, look at this. Super attack your targets. Super attack. Attacking with more than 1 piece. You get your knight to g5. He's going to have to defend. Then you get your rook over to... I guess it likes queen f8 better. But then you get your rook to f1. Now you have 3 attackers. He only has 2 defenders. That pawn is gone. He can't move it because he's pinned. It's just gone. That would have been a good clearance there. Forced him to rid himself of pieces. In fact, you can just simplify and force a queen trade in that event. Let's go back to it again. Knight to g5. Queen has to defend. Rook to f1, and it doesn't matter what black does. There's no defending this a 3rd time. Just any move. Okay, I'm taking... that wouldn't work. Let's... any move, though. It doesn't matter. Just pick... just for example. And now the queen defends the rook. So you have a discovered attack coming from the rook to the queen, and you have a discovered attack coming from the queen to the king. That is chess geometry right there, folks. That is beauty. That is gorgeousness. But knight to e5 was played instead. Same idea. Yeah, why doesn't that work? That's the same idea. I don't know why the computer likes this better. This accomplishes the same thing, doesn't it? It still forces the queen back. I'm lost. Why is that any better? Why is that not better than queen or knight to g5? Rook f1 here, right? Oh, you didn't play rook f1. Yeah, just keep adding attackers, Barry. 3 attackers, 2 defenders, overpower. Remember the rule. Overpower! More attackers than defenders, you can overpower your opponent. If you have more attackers than defenders. All right, so queen to f8 check. It's hardly relevant. You're a full rook up. It's going to be hard to play a bad move here. Good. 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 Bye-bye. And that's that. Good job. Nice. Nice job. Nice finish. Your head... Oh, the overpower? That's what we teach the kids. 2 motions, 2 actions, animations, physical animations we teach the kids is super attack, like Superman tearing our shirt open. A super attack is when you attack with more than 1 piece. And overpower is when you have more attackers than your opponent has defenders. You can overpower that square. So what a beautiful game, that one. Nice upset. Let's see if we have any other interesting upsets that we can look at. What's the time? I don't know. They didn't tell me how long to stream for. Yeah, so just going over some games, Liam Ches. In fact, you just missed your game where Sugatagash got a victory over you. And kind of just looking at some of the upset wins here, seem to be the interesting games. I like to look at those upsets. They're very... Okay, here's one. K.E. Bishop against Stephen Stanfield. Let's look at that game. You just missed the analysis, so you'll have to watch the playback. Let's watch this game. Put it in the computator for... Did we already watch this game? Or no? This is 1626 against 1911, and the 1626 won. So that's a 300 rating point difference, which counts as an upset. Both players played pretty accurately according to the accuracy report. 70% for K.E. Bishop, 81% for his opponent. How do you like that? How'd you like to have a better accuracy and still come out losing? I wouldn't. Let's see how it happened. Pawn to e4, pawn to c5, knight to c3, f3, pawn to d6, pawn to d4, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, knight to f6, knight to c3, pawn to a6, bishop to e3, pawn to e4, knight to b3. So this is a Sicilian... What is it? Not real sure what this version is. I guess this bishop move makes it a Najdorf, yeah? All right, knight to b3, book move still. And now we're out of book with bishop to e7. And bishop to d3 is not liked by the computer. Instead, it says, get on the open diagonal with your bishop. Bishop to e6, castles, castles. Interesting. I like this pawn push, although this seems to be identified as an inaccuracy by the computator. I like the idea that K.E. Bishop has here of opening this file for his rook. Pawn takes, bishop takes. This is nice. Soon you can open this b1h7 diagonal. You've got bishops on adjacent diagonals. You've got a rook on an open file. I like it. I like it a lot. Knight to c6. Now that I didn't like, and neither did the computator. You already have your rook on an open file. Okay, I guess his idea is I want to push this pawn, so I'm getting behind to support a pawn push. Knight to e5 obstructs the pawn. Bishop to f1. Not a move I would play. I'm guessing his idea is to play g3 and bring the bishop this way? Why? Why there? I mean, okay, I'm guessing he doesn't want to trade his bishop. So the computer says move it to e2 instead. At least be on a square that you have scope. Rook to c8, I like. Gets on the open file. Knight to d4. Queen to c7. A pin would have been nice here. That's considered an inaccuracy. Again, this rook just is kind of out of place here. Pawn takes knight, and sure enough, his intention to bring his bishop in a different direction is made clear. I'm guessing to h3, to e6, to fork king and rook. That seems to be his plan. Oh, blunder. Blunder. He got caught in his blunderware. He says give check here. Is this the idea? Check. King, bishop to e3. Fork the knight and the rook. Well, no, the rook's protected. Hello. But the knight doesn't have a good place to go, really. Yeah, black is winning here. You don't really have, you can't go there. It's going to say E2, but that won't work, because then your king and rook are going to get forked on F3. So, only other safe square is A4. It does heat up the queen. You could have a square for your knight up here on B6. All right, but black is winning that line there. Rook to C1. Very curious move, that. Now, rook to C1 makes sense if there's no pawn on C2. But look, get this bishop into the game. Knight G6. It's an X means missed win. An X means missed win. What does it say? This? Bishop takes E5. Knight takes E5. How's this a missed win? Defend. I don't see how that was a missed win. Maybe I'm not understanding the definition of a missed win. I am apparently not understanding the definition of a missed win. I don't see a win here for black. I see an advantage. Somebody tell me, what's the definition of a missed win? To me, I had a forced checkmate in so many moves and didn't see it. Okay, back to this. Okay, yeah, this is the so-called missed win. But when you play the suggested move, Knight G4, the evaluation bar is only minus 1.93. How could you possibly say that's a missed win? Will somebody please smell me? Now, don't smell me, tell me. All right, that's not a missed win. That's a misnomer. Missed win is a misnomer in this example. As far as I'm concerned, a missed win means, okay, if you're even gonna, if it's not a forced win, let's say you missed mate in 5. I could see that being called a missed win. Obviously, it was a forced mate in 5. Or you missed a forced gain of decisive material. Like you could have won as queen and you missed that. I can almost accept that. But a one-pawn advantage, how's that a missed win? Do you want to tell me that, ladles and jelly spoons? Again, this plan of bishop h3, bishop takes e6 is being overlooked. It seems like these central undefended pawns are being overlooked today. Because in the previous game, whoever our two players were, had that pawn on d5 sitting there for something like 5 moves before white finally captured it. d5. And you can still play bishop h3. It's not too late. Okay, and he never did play it. Check. But that is interesting. I mean, back here, Look at the analysis. -4. And now plus 1.3. Wow. So the table turned. What song is it? Let's crown him with many crowns. Crown him with many crowns. Hark how the heavenly anthem drowns all music but its own. Awake, my soul, and sing to him who died for thee, and hail him as thy matchless King through all eternity. All the music today provided by my wife. My wife has been my pianist since we've been married. She's been playing piano since she was 5 years old. All right, King H8, Bishop to D3. And this is going to be looking good now for... I think I commented on this game in progress because I remember saying if a bishop sack here will open the H file, and if white can find a way to get a rook on the H file, that's going to be delightful. He went ahead and played queen to H5, threatening the bishop sack right away. And here this is counting as a blunder. Curious. Curious that for some reason this move is necessary. Is that to stop the bishop from attacking? No, because that can just be blocked. I'm not real sure. That seems like a pretty decent move to me. That seems like a good move to me. I don't understand. I mean, why not attack this here, right? It's the only defender of this knight. Oh, I remember why this was a problem, though. It allows this queen to be, this bishop to be pinned to the queen. I just remembered. I remember, because the queen can give check here, pin the bishop while giving check. I'm not sure why A3 is such a great move, but I see why bishop to G5 is a bad move. And sure enough, black found that pin with check. Nice move by black. King to H1. And an exchange sack is apparently in order here. This is pretty complicated chess. It's a little bit beyond me. But yeah, this pin is a matter of concern. And that is considered a blunder. Wow, the evaluation bar jumped way up there. Okay, and this is why. Look at all the different targets there are and attackers. So now he didn't play it in the game. He took the rook, which I think is okay. But you can take this here. If rook takes, then rook takes. Oh, that's a blunder? Okay. Bishop takes, I guess, is better. Seems so natural to want to put that queen in danger. What does he play here? Queen to d5 check. Reestablishing the pin and a super attack. Yeah, I missed that. It's a fork. Gives check and super attacks the g5 bishop, winning the bishop. So you want to take with the bishop, protected by the rook, attacking the other rook. And then, of course, if queen takes, well then, queen takes, rook takes, and now I guess you could take with the bishop or the rook. I don't think it matters in this case. But you might as well take with the piece that creates an attack. And white is just dominating at this point. So that's a blunder. Apparently, sacking the exchange was the better choice here. Oh, don't sack the exchange. I mean, don't accept the sack. That is interesting. So a few very interesting moves here. What if you'd play that? Takes, takes, and takes. Oh, but then you have this. Yeah, wow. And now you have a fairly equal game. I mean, white has an extra pawn. So queen is a blunder. White missed the discovery against e7 and played bishop takes rook. And hardly anything wrong with that move. I mean, a 5-pawn advantage is still winning, right? When you have the advantage, just trade your pieces off. So take the knight now as well, even though this says, no, that wasn't a good move. I failed to understand what's wrong with simplifying here. Pawn to c3, and white is in control. And let's just see how he finished it off. And time ran out. All right, so there you go. Another nice win by K.E. Bishop. Yeah, checkmate coming right here. Checkmate coming. I think time ran out, but only one more stalling move or two more stalling moves. You know, some kind of crazy thing like this will stall. Or you could obstruct the rook or some stalling moves, but it's gone. It's over. Nice game. All right, anything else that we should be looking at today? We already looked at the Wikipedia upset. Let's look at page 2. And I think those are all the upsets for today. Indeed. That was that. So, very nice event. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the hosting that was provided today, I hope to get more opportunities in the future and have some more fun with it. Don't forget to tune into my channel. And it's King's Bishop spelled with a C here at Twitch. No C on chess.com. The traditional spelling was already taken on Twitch, so I had to insert a C between the S and the H, a Germanized English spelling for King's Bishop. So twitch.tv/kingsbishop, KINGSBISCHOP. Let me put it in the... Oh, I've got to agree to the chat rules. Oh, somebody already put it in there. Thanks, Chesswind. And until the next time, ladles and jelly spoons, I hope that you have a great day and that you'll play some great chess. I'll see you soon.